Hello, book babes. I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Peyton. And as you can see, it is graduation week. That's right. Aubrey and I are graduating college. By the time this goes up or this week, we have graduated. We are graduating. We are so excited. So we thought there's nothing better than the end of the year episode to celebrate our graduation. Because girl, that was hard. College is not easy.
Yes, we are ready to be done and start, doing more for stuff for hardcover. But today, in addition to our cute little caps, we are going to go through our Goodreads Wrapped of the year of 2023.
Yes. So join us with a cup of coffee as we dive between these paper sheets.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So the stats that we are using for our little Goodreads Wrapped is all, or almost all, from Goodreads' own A Year of Books. But if you want to make cute little templates to kind of match the Spotify Wrapped trend, we do have the free template down in the description below. So you can download that and make your own cute one, post it on your socials, and tag us.
Yes, please tag us. I am so interested to see what everyone has read this year, what your favorite books are.
Yeah.
I swear, if my favorite book is your least favorite book, I don't think we can be friends. But anyways, with that being said, our first stat, I love this. This is probably going to be one of my favorite episodes the whole year because it's like the trophy, right? It's like the last day of school.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to start off with how many books in total we have read. My goal for the year was 30. Last year I read a little bit more, but I do have a little bit of a bone to pick. And there are, and I've seen this on Instagram, so I kind of want to preface this because I know this is an anxiety and a standard perhaps in the book community. It does not matter how many books you read in a year. We don't care. I do not care if you've read one book this year. The fact, I don't care if you've read no books. If you just like storytelling, the storytelling process, you're interested in literature, and there's many times I am a scaredy cat and cannot read horror, but you best believe I want to know every like bit of that story. Like, please tell me. I personally just can't read it. Like, I want to know, but I just can't. So with that being said, I know there are people that have read 100, 150 books. Know your genre. Aubrey and I mainly read fantasy. We're talking 600 plus page books here, and our word count and page count will show for that. So with that being said, I just need to say that.
Yes.
This year.
Don't be ashamed of your books read account. A lot of those people who have like crazy high numbers are reading shorter books. They have more time to read, or like there's a lot of different reasons, and you just be excited what you have. I mean, we're fucking booktubers, and our numbers are sitting around 30. So
yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to speak on behalf of Aubrey. We both were twinning this year. We both read 32 books, which makes sense because we do a book podcast and we're in the same book club. Of course we have our own reads on the side, but usually they're pretty close here for a reason because we read a lot of books for the podcast. 32 this year. I mean, hey, like that's a good amount. I'm very proud, and I feel like, sure, I always like wish I had more time to read, but at the end of the day, think of everything that's put on our plates, especially in the past 6 months, because as you know, we are graduating college. It is hard to be a senior in college with jobs and work, and once again, it doesn't matter. I'm very proud of us. We did a round of applause.
I know. I'm so excited. My goal was 30 because last year it was 25 and I read 24 books. So I was like, okay, I'm doing 30 books. Okay, we're going to keep the bar low. Yes. But honestly, I feel pretty accomplished with 30. Like, it sounds low, but that's more than a book a month. That's more than 2 books a month.
Yeah,
that's not how I came out. Like, I didn't finish a single book in January, and then there's other months that I read more. Also, books for school really helped pad my number up. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the little poetry and memoir books that I had to read for university definitely made this number probably a little bit higher than it should be.
Yeah, Aubrey doing that creative writing minor really kind of like helped her out there.
Yeah.
Love that.
And
Love
they
a
will
good short
show
book.
up later.
Hey, if we were just poetry readers, I'm sure we'd have a lot more books on there. So I'm very proud of that number. My goal was 35. I did
Okay.
not hit that. But with that being said, I read a lot of big, as you will see later. I'm staring at it right now. I'm staring at it right now. So, yes, great accomplishment.
And the year's not over. Like, we're doing the wrap up, but there is technically a few weeks, and I feel like the time between Christmas and New Year's is either super busy or like slower and a good time to like read. So
Correct. Who knows? Maybe I'll hit 35. Stay tuned. I will update you all if I do.
You should pick up some poetry books.
Yeah. I suppose what people do, they're like, what's the shortest book I can read to boost my Goodreads? So once again, it is okay. Moving on, Aubrey, what do we have next?
Okay, next we have the pages read, which I think that this number matters more than books read because, like we said, not all books are made equal in size. And, sometimes with books, size matters, guys.
Size matters.
Size, you heard it from us.
Size matters.
Size matters. So, pages read. We're also pretty close in this. I have you beat though. Yeah. I know. I'm just 13,884 pages read.
Yes, and I have 13,085 read. That's all of those Brandon Sanderson books you read.
Yes, honestly, it is. I also I don't know how I totally think audiobooks is reading and should count towards your goals, but I do feel like it's easier to read more pages when it's 2x audiobook.
Yeah, that's true. Now I think about it. Yeah, for book club this month, we read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I didn't add that because I already read that. So all that stuff kind of.
You can go in and you can add a second set of read dates.
Oh, that's true. I could do that. It's fine. I feel weird. I didn't fully commit to it, but yeah. And Seven Husbands I already read too. But anyway, so yeah, if you start counting from 1 right now. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. We're going to be here for a long time. So I'm very proud of myself.
Yes, that number makes me very excited.
Yeah, so go and compare that to the people that have read 100 books, and let's see how it works out. All right, on to speaking of pages. What was your shortest book of the year? Okay. What was your short?
Life on Mars by Tracy K. Smith. This is a poetry book. So even each page, it's a.
Oh my gosh.
It's a bit more empty than Iron Flame, where the font is 2.0 and the margins are nothing. But yeah, a little
cool. Hey, but poetry, you have to think. You have to think a lot when you read poetry. Yeah. I have an Ocean Vuong book I've been wanting to read, and that's a poetry book, and I'm so excited. It's on my TBR for next year, but I'm like, it's short. Yeah. Okay, so for my shortest book, and I read this in a night, was The Alchemist. I've had this book since I was 13. I remember going to Barnes & Noble, my mom, and I just wanted to get The Fault in Our Stars. So she's like, Peyton, you should really read The Alchemist. And I have never annotated a book more. This book really just changed my life and my outlook on what is your purpose. And we're not going to go too much into details in this episode, but just know it's worth the read. And it's super short. You can read this in one day. So do it.
Think Peyton also talked about both of these books in our mid-year wrap-up, where we go in a little bit more detail of the books, if you want to hear more. Yeah. Life on Mars has 75 pages, so along with it not filling, she's shorty. She's under 100.
She's a shorty. And I had to look, but The Alchemist has 170 pages. So, easy. Easy. All right.
Okay.
Next stat is our longest book. Go ahead, Aubrey. I know what it's gonna be.
I know. This is where the king of fantasy, Brandon Sanderson, helps out your stats. I have Words of Radiance.
Oh my
I
god.
start a Stormlight Archive book every January. So this was the second year. I'm very excited to go in and start the third one, but because they're so fucking like this is a little copy.
That is
It's
crazy.
so big. It's 1,800 and oh wait, sorry, I'm really bad at saying numbers out loud. It's 1,087 pages, and that's like I think that's what
1,000?
1,087 pages, and that's what Goodreads
Oh,
says. My personal copy is 1,309 pages. Guys,
that
fucking,
is
I read all of these pages.
that is crazy to me.
It's so heavy too. Like I have to have the small ones because they're too heavy.
Yeah, I can't imagine that a big one. Oh, Senna's
Yeah.
making an appearance for this. What'd you read this year, Senna? She's like, nothing. Okay, so my longest
Yes.
book this year was A House of Sky and Breath.
Oh,
Yeah, she's chunky. This was my second read of the year, and it feels like I read this a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that I've read A House of Sky and Breath and the first House of Earth and Blood. I'm staring at it across my house. This past January, and now next January I'm going to be reading Crescent City 3. So that is so exciting. So yes, this book has I need to go to the infamous last line.
Yes.
801 pages this has. Now the text is very big in this book, as we know there are some conspiracies, so possibly Iron Flame is the biggest book I read this year, but it's big. And page count wise, she's thick, and this book took me a while to read, so
she's honking. Yeah, I had when I read that last year, I had to pause and stop reading it and then like start reading it again. I needed a break.
It's a pretty slow book, so
yeah. Right. Did you see the Iron Flame like Germany copies where they're like this big because they didn't make the font super small? I was like, that's what we read in a week, Peyton. A week.
Not even. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of myself. But it like affirmed me when I was like going through Iron Flame. I'm like, this for like I wanted to read every chapter, every page, every word. Like I said that in our vlog. But with that being said, at some point I was like, when is this gonna end? So it's funny to think about. All right. Average book length. Speaking of pages.
We are very close with this one, and I don't know about you, but I'm actually more excited to see this number next year because I feel like while my little poetry books helped bump up my books read number, I think it's bumped down this average length. Like I think these like 75, 100 page like memoirs and poetry collections, because mine is 11 pages more than yours. Mine's 433 pages and Peyton's 422. Like we're literally just twins, guys.
Yes, we're twinning.
But I feel like the like average like fantasy book I read is like 600, 800 pages.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I feel like it should be higher. So I definitely, some of my books too, I think helped that. Well, it hurt that. I wanted to flex, be like, wow, my average length is 800 pages. But yeah, I would say like I definitely think most of the books I read are over 450. So if some of those books took that down, bumped it down a little bit, that makes sense. But that is the average book length. All right, next, Goodreads stat is shelved books. So what the most shelved books that people like, this is a whole statistic across Goodreads compared to other people.
Kind of fun. It's like kind of basically the most popular book you read and then like the least popular based off of like,
I love this stat.
This is so cute. So my most shelved book of the year was a book club book, was Evelyn Hugo, which honestly surprises me because I know this book was super big in previous years. So the fact that it still like was the most popular book that I read this year in 20, oh, I guess most shelved would count.
Yeah,
Oh,
because my book definitely, I feel like, is of all time. So
yeah.
compared like all time
Okay.
statistics. So that
Let
makes
me
sense
tell
because
you.
that book really popped off
Yeah.
compared to some of the more obscure books in like real people terms. Like if
Yeah.
this was a fantasy only genre, we'd like have that in the bag. But yeah, I mean that maybe makes sense because I feel like a lot of people who are into a variety of genres read that book, so that
Yeah.
makes sense. I'm not surprised with this. Uh, my most shelved book was The Alchemist. I mean, this book is so popular,
Yeah.
it just makes sense. It kind
Mhm.
of stinks that I can't have more books to show you, but it's the fact. The Alchemist, so it's popular. Go read it.
All right. So that is our most popular books. Now, what are our pick me books? Peyton, what is your like, I read this book and no one else did?
So this is not supposed to be depressing, but I took I have a German minor, and a lot of that goes into I've studied the Holocaust a lot, and in this class we read Ruth Kluger's Still Alive: A Holocaust Girlhood Remembered. So this book like was this is no one I feel like would really read this, but I
Yeah.
loved this book. It's short. I thought this was gonna be my shortest book of the year, so it
Yeah.
beat it didn't. Well, I guess The Alchemist beat it, but yeah. So this book, oh my gosh, so well written. Just like it's just so interesting to
Mhm.
see the perspective from a young girl who like lied and the connection between her and her mom. So, anyways, mid-year review, I believe I went into this more. So go watch that video if you want to know my thoughts more on it. But yes, that's the pick me of the group.
Yeah. How many people shelved it? Goodreads will tell you.
I'll have to look.
Yeah. Pull it up while I talk about mine. Because I think the pick me is like kind of fun for like how small it is. But it also, okay, so mine is The Other Side by Lacey Johnson, another university book coming in. This is a memoir about Lacey Johnson, who was kidnapped by her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, and he had like built
Oh my
basically
god.
a underground like basement thing, soundproof cage, and planned on her like dying there, but she escaped. And so it goes through a lot of her character, like delving into her as a character before and after the events. But you do hear about like the actual kidnapping. It was my favorite memoir that I read for class. My favorite memoir of the year was Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom's Dead, which is more mainstream. I don't think that, again, this is the least shelved book. 8,272 people shelved this book, which is honestly like shocking to me. That's high. I mean, it's a good memoir. I'm not like I don't want to. Wall Street Journal like quoted it, but it is I don't know. I just,
I like that's interesting.
yeah. My professor went to school with her and
Oh
like
my gosh.
workshop it, which was super cool to hear.
That's awesome. That it's interesting when you get those like real life inputs into my
Yeah.
favorite classes have always been like that. Okay, so compared to The Alchemist sitting at over 5 million people
Yes.
loving it, Ruth Kluger's Still Alive is shelved at 6,725. So look at
Woo!
that. I don't know if it's gonna do the thing, but look at
E
that difference. It's overexposed, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
You
that
beat
is
me.
crazy to me. It's still not gonna go. That's okay. Anyways, crazy.
Yeah.
Over 6,000. Yeah, that's nothing compared to 5 million.
No. Yeah, Evelyn Hugo is also over 5 million. So
That is insane.
look at
So yeah,
us.
those are the pick me's. Great book though. Moving on.
Yes, moving on.
Ratings.
This
Debate
is
of my
also a
existence.
fun stat to figure out, and I have learned that I probably go too nice on books.
Yes, typically Aubrey does. Which is interesting because you are like our personalities. Like you'll give like the like truth hard fact of
Yeah,
like you'll be like,
I'm more
actually I
critical.
thought this, and I'm like, it was fine, like it was good. Like I'm more of like complacent. You're more like no. But then with the star rating, I think that
Uh-huh.
you when you finish a book, you still have that strong feeling where you're like,
Yeah.
this actually ended really great. And so
Mhm.
I just think that that's funny how that correlates.
Yeah, I think I do need to be a little bit more. Like I get so critical, but then I go to put it in, and I'm like, 2 stars. Really? Two
It
stars.
wasn't that bad.
I'm also very quick to give a 5 stars or be like, okay, this is 5 stars for its genre,
Yeah.
and that always makes me do like be a lot nicer than I should be. But so my average rating was a 4.1.
Yes, and mine was a 3.8.
Okay.
So usually around there. I do feel like I give out 4s more than anything, but I guess this
Yeah.
year a lot of my book club books were kind of in between 3s and 4s. So
Yeah.
3s is a good solid for me, but it makes sense why it's a 3.8 because it's kind
Being
of
a
in
little,
between there.
being a little critical there.
I like to keep my 5 stars for like I'm gonna recommend this to everyone.
Yeah.
And even my top 5, they're not all. Some of them are 3s and 4s. It's just when I look
Mhm.
back, I'm happy. I'm like, oh, that's a really good book. It made an impact on my life. But yeah, like 5 star needs to be like, oh my god. I'm like, I'll buy fan merch off of Etsy for this
Yes.
book.
Yes. That's where mine should be. I just think that this is like such a good book for this genre, and then I go a little too hard. I think 5 could be like I'm thinking about that book again after I've put it down.
Right.
Then I do have 1 star books are always books that I DNF'd
Yep.
or super hated.
Yep.
But usually if I finish the book, then it gets a 2 stars because you got me to finish it, unless I had to like finish it for school or something like that.
Yeah. Or it was literally a joke and you're like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to read
Yeah.
this book for the giggles. Okay. Yeah. So, highest rated on Goodreads.
Yes. So this is
Aubrey?
across the board.
Yes.
So this
Of
is
the books
actually
we read.
this is probably the more popular book. Like the other one was like more popular by numbers, and this is like people who read this like liked it. It has like the highest average star rating. So what is yours, Peyton?
Of course. Mine, I have to grab it and I have to decide which copy to grab without.
Oh, I know. I had that for later.
I have to do this one, first edition. Of course, it's Fourth Wing. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, Fourth Wing has a 4.61 average on Goodreads. That is
So good.
insane.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite books are rated like a 3.5, and I'm like, y'all are crazy. This book. And there was a lot of like pushback on this book. So
That's what I'm saying. I think it's crazy that it's that high considering how popular it is in the like romantasy genre. Like I feel like there's a lot of hate reviewers, and so the fact that it can keep such a high average tells you how good this fucking book is.
Yes, and the fact that the romantasy book is my highest rated book I read a lot of contemporary literature as well.
Yeah.
Like The Alchemist, I was like, oh, it's probably The Alchemist. Like, that's like a classic. Nope. Fourth Wing. I'm so excited about this. You guys don't even know.
That is amazing. Okay, mine is a book that has come up before and will come up again. Mr. Brandon Sanderson's Words of Radiance has a 4.75 average rating.
Hey, that's awesome.
So high. But I will say, I mean, this is an amazing book, but I think that the reason that its rating is so high is because it is the second book in the Stormlight Archive. And so like if you are reading books this thick, you have to have loved the first one to pick up the second one, and in my opinion the second one is better than the first one. So if you like go through this, then you're going to be like, no, I'm going to rate this. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
there's a lot of people who could have picked that book up and been like, oh, this isn't for me, and didn't continue with the series. But like for this, you have to have continued with the series. So I think that's a bit of an edge up.
Yeah, it also makes sense why, and Fourth Wing may be, like, exempt from this, but it makes sense why a lot of second books in the series are rated higher, because you're
Yeah.
already going into that. Like, I'm pretty sure Akamath is probably rated higher than Akatar, just
Yeah.
because there's so much anticipation and, like, more
Mhm.
of the story development, and the fans that are there are the fans, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, that's just, I don't know, this is also interesting to me. Okay, my lowest rated read.
Yes, this is not a stat that you will find on your year-end book review. This is
No.
the first stat that is drifting away because Goodreads wants to promote positivity and I want to
Boo.
promote trash talking. So, what is it? What's your
Oh my,
hated book
I
this year?
I I freaking hate this book. I thought I'd like it. Layla by Colleen Hoover. I don't have it, and thank God. It was on Kindle Unlimited. Aubrey
Yeah.
and I did some KU stuff this year for the
Mhm.
podcast, and so I read this on my Kindle. Oh my gosh, but it was like a train wreck. Like, I could not stop reading it. Like, so
Yeah.
I rated this in my head, it's a 1.5, but like on Goodreads, it's a 1 because no, just freaking no. It's not a good book. The writing is shit. The storyline is like not okay. So
Yeah.
I was hoping. I like Verity by Colleen Hoover. Like, it's a very good book, and I recommend it to people that are getting into reading. Like, I enjoyed Verity, and people are
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you should read Layla." And I'm like, you know what? I'll read a Coho book. It's on KU. I
Yeah.
might as well. Wrong.
Mhm.
Wrong.
No. And you know
Wrong.
what? Yeah, we liked Verity and It Ends With Us. So we're not full Colleen Hoover haters. But I think that that's like her more mainstream. Like, I like her best work.
Yes. Do not read Layla unless you want, like, for shits and giggles and to laugh and be like, oh my god, Payne was right. That book is just, like, so wrong. But anyways, what do you got, Aubrey?
Yes, mine was also from our KU episode at the start or end of August. Guys, it was A Court of the Vampire Queen. If you remember, I downloaded this book because I saw people talking positively about it on TikTok. And you know what? Its full title was Erotica MMMF.
That's right.
That should I didn't see that after I started this book. So The Court of the Vampire Queen is actually 3 of these, like, it's like the trilogy put into like one masterbound book. And so I actually only finished the first one,
Okay.
but I think that was a good enough experience. I read like the first chapter of the second one and I was like, no, I don't need to continue with this. I read one of them, and so it gets to count as like a read book on my Goodreads.
Of course.
This is a 1 star.
Good.
Like, kind of DNF'd it. Like, I DNF'd the other 2, and it was about
Right.
collection. But honestly, the first one that I did read deserved a 1 star. It was just porn.
Yeah,
And
just porn.
it wasn't good. Like, honestly, like, I swear to God, like, I could have understood more if it was like every chapter had a sex scene in it.
No. I could
Too
never.
much for me. Peyton would vomit.
I would literally vomit. I can't.
But I was like, okay, if it would have just been like, oh, you know exactly what you're getting out of this book, like, that's one thing. But the sex scenes were also bad. Like, it wasn't good sex scenes. And so I'm like, so now what is this book? Like, there's
not
no
even well written.
Like, at the end of the day, there was like no plot. There was no character development. You're just like, they're all hot for one another. The one guy had like a fucking mohawk. No. It's a no for me.
No, it's a hard no. All right. Probably the best part of the podcast today. We are going over our top 5 books of the year. I tried to kind of like mix up my selection a little bit, but my heart, I'm a fantasy girl. So.
I know. I feel the same way. I was like, should I throw a memoir in there? And I was like, no, you like the fantasy books more, though.
Pick your favorite books, guys. Okay, so we will be starting at our number 5 book, and then we will work our way to 1.
Yes. All right. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is where exactly I was just referencing. I wanted to choose something other than fantasy. And I really enjoyed this book. It is Hamnet.
Hamnet. I thought you
This
misspelled it. I thought you misspelled Hamlet on
no.
the doc.
Shakespeare's son that died,
Mm.
his name was Hamnet, and then he wrote the play Hamlet based off of his son Hamnet.
Oh.
So this book is told from Anne Hathaway, also known as Agnes. So Shakespeare is never referred to as Shakespeare, William, or anything. He's referred to as the husband. So this book
Oh.
literally is just like feminist. It's just like feminist literature. I'm obsessed. Anne Hathaway. It's loosely based. You know, there's only so
Yeah.
much we know about women back in, you know, the Renaissance time. Right? Yeah. Yeah, because the Globe Theater's at the Renaissance Fair. Don't. Anyways, so during that time,
Yeah.
yeah. So she's just like the coolest, most badass woman ever. Such a cool mom, such a cool woman. And it's dual timeline. So you go
Ooh.
back to her childhood when she met William to when she's a mom, and Hamnet was a twin. So seeing the relationship there, oh my gosh, it was so good, and it's super short and it's very prosy. So just be
Yes.
prepared. I think it's by Maggie O'Farrell, and she also wrote The Marriage Portrait.
Ooh.
It's if you would know the cover if you saw it. It's like
Yeah.
a Renaissance looking painting, and then there's like I believe there's like orange stripes on it or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyways, this was recommended because I saw Jack Edwards read it and he was raving about it.
Yes.
So yeah, love it. Love. I don't like his review on Iron Flame. I think it is total shit. So I'm mad at him right now. He also hated Wicked King and Cruel Prince. So, and that's a bad take.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm a little mad at him, but Hamnet was amazing.
Amazing. All right. My number, guys, the distance between my top 3 and my top 5, like 4 and 5, there's a big fucking cliff. Everything's 5-star, and I was like, am I really gonna fucking pick this? Like, is this actually did JLA actually make it onto my top 5? And she did.
Book. It was a good
She
book.
did. I love her fantasy. I think that this book had like the right amount of like spice for me for a romantasy, and it's a tour book, guys. This is not From Blood and
baby.
Ash. This is not. I mean, actually, one of the From Blood and Ash books has my favorite endings ever. But whatever.
It's edited, bitch.
It was edited. This was good. We read this for the pod. I read it very quickly. I super enjoyed it. But if you want our full review, we do have a video on this, so I won't go into too much detail.
The
but
ending. Oh my god.
it's a high fantasy JLA book. It's really good. It's a romantasy.
All right, moving on to our 4th book. Aubrey, hit me with your 4th.
Okay, guys. Number 4 is for nostalgia. I have Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. It's a Percy Jackson book. I love this book. I was so scared to get it because I don't like the fact that Percy is young again in this book. Like, in my mind, I grew up with him and he's 30, but it's set in 2023 because he's mentioning TikTok, even though Rick Riordan's like, Percy doesn't age. I'm like, well, I mean, I get it. He's a middle grade author. He needs his characters to be the correct age.
Correct.
I understand why he says that Percy Jackson is still 16 or 17. But in my head, he's 30. And
so you're just old. More of the story is you're just old now.
I don't like being older than him. But the TV show comes out too, December 20th. It's on my calendar. I bought Jacob and I matching sweatshirts that say Camp Half-Blood.
Yes, I was hoping you'd say that.
Make blue cookies. I'm so excited. I was a Percy Jackson girl. But they have my heart. I reread the series more often than I should. And so it was just so nice, like being back in like the world. Is this a money grab? Maybe, but I didn't care.
Good for him. You know what? Good for him. All of my like closest book friends all loved Percy Jackson growing up. Like
so
that.
good.
Like when you say like what's your favorite book, they're just like Percy Jackson. Like, literally my best friend growing up, Neva, who's been on the podcast, like, she
Yes.
was crazy. She had all the Camp Half-Blood stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, Camp what? Camp Rock. Anyways.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw an Annabeth edit on TikTok yesterday, and I started crying.
I'm just
It's
so
just like-
happy that they're doing the show right and they're not
Yes.
like, yeah.
You need to
so
watch the show so you know what's
That's
up.
true. I should.
And then it'll
Alright,
make you want to read the books. Yes. Anyways, your book 4.
Yes. Okay. So we reviewed this on the podcast this year.
Yes.
I love this book. I didn't love her other books, but anyways, it's Avi Blake's One for My Enemy. It's a loose sort of, it follows the story format of a Romeo and Juliet novel.
Look at you with Shakespeare.
I know. Oh my god, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, One for My Enemy, it is signed. Olivia Blake is just the coolest person ever.
Yeah.
While I don't love the Atlas 6 and basically DNF, the Atlas, whatever it's Paradox. I know Complex is coming out in January or something like that. So I'm gonna have to come back to that. Not looking forward to it, may I add. But yeah, oh my gosh, guys, this book was just like so much fun. I feel like it was an easier read. The world building wasn't as complex. There's things I don't love, but all in all, when I finish a book and I'm like, that was fun.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then I dressed up as a witch for Halloween because I was so inspired. So go watch that review.
Yes. Oh, I have the physical copy of this book now. I didn't have it for the review, but Victoria, my best friend who was on the podcast as well, got it for me for my birthday. And so
yes,
she
got the
black
Barnes and Noble
black
version.
Barnes and Noble version.
Yes.
All right. Book number 3. Peyton, what do you got?
All right. I'm so upset I don't physically. I have the book, and my mom. It's my mom's fault. Mom, if you're watching this, listen to this, give me my book back. So maybe Aubrey can throw up on the screen. If not, go look it up, girl. It's called The Only One Left. It's by Riley Sager. I said the title and I'm like, oh my gosh, because the last one was One for My Enemy and now it's just like The Only One Left.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hope that's it. Anyways, it's a longer title, but Riley Sager, we're doing a book exchange for book club, like a Secret Santa. I asked for House Across the Lake because Riley Sager's writing, oh my gosh, it is so good. And I read this with Lane, my cousin. Hey Lane, if you're listening, and my mom, and we were all like, what? I loved this book so much. I made a big plot chart. Have you ever seen that meme where he's like and his hair's all crazy? That was me at literally 2 a.m. and my boyfriend's like, you're manic. Take your pills and go to sleep.
Doesn't go to sleep.
I'm like, we have to figure out the plot. Oh my gosh. So as you can tell, it's a mystery. Love. And the cover is so pretty.
I feel like we talked about this on the pod as well. I can't think of what episode, but I remember you because you had the board and you pulled it up like a little mad woman.
Yes, I am crazy. It was such a good book. Everyone should read it. So people said they loved House Across the Lake, even like a lot of people said even more than The Only One Left. So I hopefully will get that at book club and I am very excited.
Yeah, I want to read that like next October because I think I don't read mysteries often, but you sold me on it and I was just too busy this October.
You're going to love it. Like this is an Aubrey mystery. Like I seriously think like you are going to eat this shit up. Yes.
I'm excited. Okay, my number 3, we've seen it a few times already. Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. How many times can I say this book? Guys, okay, listen. These books are a mountain to get into. Like, if you are not an avid fantasy reader, this probably isn't the series for you. However, this is the series that will be written on Brandon Sanderson's tombstone. The Stormlight Archive, this is like the biggest thing. I mean, I know he did Wheel of Time, but whatever. This is Wheel of Time of our generation. This is like, I feel like in 100 years when they're saying what were the big fantasy book series from like the 21st century. George R. R. Martin, though I think most of the Game of Thrones books came out in the 90s, but that's besides the point. and Stormlight Archive. Like, I think these are gonna be the big, like,
High fantasy.
epic high fantasy books. Like, there's a lot of romantasy books like Fourth Wing that should make that list depending on how the series goes. But these books have like my heart. They are so fucking cool. He spent so much time building these series. It's so epic fantasy that I can't even like think of plot to share.
It's just
Because
awesome.
there's just so much that's happening. But Dalinar in this book, he's one of the main characters. He's not the main character in the first or the second book. I think he is the main character in the third book, so I'm super excited for that. But he's like a silver daddy that I'm obsessed with, and I will marry, and I named my Minecraft horse after him, because I just love Dalinar so much.
My cat's middle name is not Sigale for like just because, right?
Yes.
Use the book names, guys. Come on.
But okay, so it's set and they're in this like cool world, and there's like magic storms, and there's like everyone who like has magical powers have like a little pet kind of fairy that goes with them that are called Spren, that are super cute.
Like a Sprite.
They're the hugest books, huge ever. But I think if you get into it, you got to look up a description because I'm not doing a very good job. This is book 2, and the ending was epic and crazy, and I hate battle scenes. I hate fighting. I hate war, and the battle scene in this was super fucking interesting. And the character was just like flying through like a storm and the clouds, and like
Love
the
to
like
see
fantasy gods showing up in scenes, and it's just like high levels of epicness, and that's all I got.
High fantasy, just not for the weak of heart. All right, I'm gonna have to kind of break into this pile here a little bit.
I know.
All right,
little display.
I know. It's the time has come. Okay, so, oh my god, I'm so nervous. Okay, so hey guys, it's me.
Hi.
So my second book of the year, obviously, is Iron Flame. I'm showing you this copy because I think everyone in my life is obsessed with it. It's the Waterstones edition. I mean,
so pretty. So pretty.
It's so pretty. I don't love the cover as much. If I grab this one, you'll see why.
Yeah.
I really love the front of the US one.
Yeah.
But she's basic. I like her a lot. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold my babies here. So of course, Iron Flame is the second in, I believe, what Yaros is calling the Empyrean series.
Yes, after the dragons.
Guys, we made so much content about Iron Flame.
Yes.
Go watch it. I'm not gonna say anything.
Review. Instagram's packed with shit.
Yes. We did a vlog, we did a full review. Guys, just yay. I'm just so happy that these books came out. What I'm upset about is it's gonna be a while till we get another book. She spoiled us this year by giving us 2.
Honestly, it was
I
like
hate
the
her for
best
it.
way to launch this series, but like
it's like
a drought.
Yes. So I'm not gonna say anything about this book. Just Iron Flame. Iron Flame, guys. Please go read it. All right, Aubrey.
I did not put Iron Flame on this list simply because Fourth Wing is my number 1, which we will talk about Fourth Wing in a minute.
Yes. I had the same idea at first, too.
I wanted to talk about other books, and I was like, you got it. Because I could not talk about The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. You guys know Cruel Prince is my favorite series ever. My name is Greenbrier, and I picked it myself. And this book was so good. It takes place like I think 10 years after the Cruel Prince series, and it follows Oak, Jude's little brother. I consumed this book in like 2 days, I think. I love Elfheim. I love the world of fairy. Holly Black has such a whimsical, prosy, and yet like right to the gut writing style that I am obsessed with. And it's just so good. And Prisoner's Throne comes out in like February, and I'm so excited.
Yes.
Stolen Heir.
I'm waiting. I think it maybe just came out in paperback. I've been waiting for it to
Probably
come.
like a year, so it would.
Yeah, I've been waiting for the Stolen Heir to come out in paperback because I read the Core Prince. Actually, A Wicked King almost made it onto my list because I
Yeah.
love the second book in the Cruel Prince trilogy. But yes, the world is very whimsical and exciting, and I love that it's like high fantasy for not high fantasy people. If you
Yes.
get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, love Holly Black. Okay, we can just do this ish together.
Yes, we have a shared number one. You guys
Ready?
know
We need to do like a
Yeah.
our number one book of the year, of course, is Fourth Wing. We have the holiday edition too, of course. Guys, welcome, riders. This book is like, I'm sorry. We thought Akatar was gonna be our like one. All be wrong.
Yeah.
We thought this is like my Twilight. This is my High School Musical. This is my camper. This is where I begin and end. And if people have bad things to say about it, I just get upset. You know what? If you want to knock Iron Flame, go ahead. You knock my child, we're gonna have some
The
words.
baby?
This is the baby of the family. Mess with the middle. Sorry, Aubrey. Mess with the middle child. I don't care, because I'm the baby of my family. Don't mess with me, okay? We may be the youngest, but we are strong. We are very strong. So you could also say this may be the oldest. It's like my shining child. She's beautiful. The pacing, the storytelling, it's amazing.
It's so quick paced. I think that this is also a great introduction if you're not a fantasy reader. I recommend it to people all the time. I was talking to a girl in my class whose favorite book is Normal People. She is completely like a contempt, oh my god, what the fuck? Contemporary lit romance girly. She was like, I don't like reading books with like creature people, and like she doesn't like Akatar because they have wings, which honestly felt like I was talking to my mother with that, because that's exactly how my mom feels. But she was like, I am obsessed with Fourth Wing. It's so good, because it's very much like Game of Thrones, where everyone's normal people and then there's also dragons. Unlike Game of Thrones, these dragons get to talk and have personalities and are amazing, and it's super fast paced. We have a book review on this one.
Of course.
It's our like favorite series of the year. All my love. The Barnes & Noble guy convinced me to get the holiday edition.
The holiday edition is so. What I love about the holiday edition is a lot of people like didn't know how, like, they didn't say this would be a first edition copy.
Yeah.
Aubrey and I literally got the last two at Target.
Yep.
Crazy.
Mine's like right there.
So scored there, and people have been borrowing my Fourth Wing, and I'm like, if you bend a page, we are gonna have words. Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh. So I like that the holiday edition. I mean, I'm obsessed with the series, so I'm gonna get as many copies as I can. I love that people were able to get the sprayed edges. I know there's some drama, and that these are really like poorly made, and I can agree with that, honestly. But nonetheless, she is beautiful. I feel like it was better if you just bought in stores, to be honest. But I ordered them on Amazon. I just look up on TikTok holiday edition Fourth Wing gone wrong, probably, and you're just gonna see like
there was a lot of issues. My Barnes & Noble copy is perfect.
Yes. So with that being said, guys, it's our number one. Like, are we surprised? It's accessible. It's easy to read. There's so many people in my life that's like, I don't read fantasy, but I love this book.
Yes.
It's spicy, but not too spicy. It's
exactly
perfect.
It's perfect. And I think something that's super special, and if you haven't read it yet and are considering it, I think you should jump onto the train right now, because one of my favorite things, and I know it's one of Peyton's favorite things too, is that we joined this fandom as it was being built, like day one soldiers of this fandom, which is something really special to me, because I feel like a lot of, even Percy Jackson that I'm obsessed with, I feel like there's bigger Percy Jackson fans out there. Akatar, I came way late into the game. Like, there's a lot of fandoms, and it's always fun to be a part of a fandom, but being like, no, I'm an original, like I was here from the beginning, is just something that I haven't ever had before, and I
Wow.
really I love being a frontline soldier for Fourth Wing. So
Yes, it's like I literally read it the month it came out. So,
yes.
oh my gosh, guys. I'm sure this episode's gonna be way longer than we were expecting. And that is
You're like,
okay
oh,
because
so quick.
we read a lot this year. We had a lot to
Yes.
say. I just wanna we have one more video coming out this year.
Mhm.
Because I'm excited to talk about what I want to read next year.
Yes.
But guys, I'm just like so happy. We have gained so many new friends and have made
Yes.
friends. If you are a listener, we have a TikTok and an Instagram. And you need to make sure that you are following us, DM us,
Yes.
comment on our things. Let us know you're there. We love debating things as well. Any of our Iron Flame content once you've read any of the books and you are just jump in there and start fighting. So yeah, please. And if you aren't already, you need to hit the subscribe button.
Please, please, please.
It helps us out more than you know, and like the video and
know.
comment. All that stuff. Oh my gosh. So
We're baby booktubers, guys. Our account is less than a year old, and the fact that we've grown so much already, I am obsessed with. We are almost at 100 subscribers, so get us there before the new year, maybe. You know,
that
like,
would be
whatever.
awesome. That would, and my birthday's next week. So if we
Yes.
did birthday, Christmas, graduation present, are you kidding me? I love making new friends, and so like come chat with us. We'd love to chat with you. But with that being said, that's all we have time for today.
Yes.
Aubrey said in the beginning of the episode, we have a template we are sharing with you. We will be sharing our total stats for you to see. But with this template, like go download it, use it, share it, and you have to tag us so we see it.
Yes. We
So
want to
make
see
sure you
everyone's
tag Hardcover
stuff.
Podcast wherever you post it, and we will see it. But yeah, don't forget to tag us. And I love you all very much.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and happy reading.
Yay!